You're joking, aren't you? It's the Teesside Chef. Coming up, making it rain with chili flakes, rolling it all up and making pretty little spiral slices. No yeast, no proving, and no oven, just amazing chili-infused flatbreads. No fancy ingredients either. 500 grams of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, 250 millilitres of hot water, hot from the tap is okay, and 50 grams of yoghurt. I'm using Greek yoghurt here, but other full-fat yoghurts are available and suitable. And before I attempt to impress you with my kneading skills, I'm going to stir the dough together roughly before tipping it onto my work surface and bringing it together into a smooth mass. The dough is quite easy to handle, so you shouldn't need any more flour here. And of course, you could just use a stand mixer for this if you have one. And once your dough has a smooth consistency, oil a bowl, smother the dough a little, cover with cling film and let that sit now for 20 to 30 minutes to have a little rest. And you can have a little rest too, because you must be pooped after doing all that, bless you. No need to portion out this dough in the traditional fiddly way. Just flour your work surface liberally, and the dough too, of course, before rolling out into a large rectangle and using your fighting hammers. Tidy the dough edges as you go, and within the hierarchy of priorities, the dough's dimensions at this juncture pale in comparison to the necessity of achieving the desired thickness, which should be around 5 millimeters like this. I have 50 to 60 grams of softened butter here, which I'll spread across the rolled out dough now. It's just like buttering a big slice of bread, really, or applying sunscreen to a polar bear's back. Be careful though, because a polar bear will take your face off, and these dried chili flakes will take your face off, so only sprinkle as many as you feel comfortable with on top of the buttered dough. I like a good bit of spice, so I'm quite generous with my chili flakes, but in any event you must now dust the top of the dough with more all-purpose flour in preparation for the next step, and I did make sure to leave one short edge of the dough unbuttered here, and I'll brush that now with a little water, because starting at the other end, we're going to roll this dough up nice and tight. And if you've ever murdered someone and wrapped their lifeless corpse in a large rug before disposal, this is a similar concept really, but without the dead body. And while making sure to keep the edges nice and tidy as you go, the roll of dough can now be anchored on that wet edge. You need quite a lot of flour to stop the dough from sticking as you roll it, so I'm brushing the excess off before covering in cling film and resting again in the fridge this time. I like to rest the dough at every stage really, to let the gluten relax, and I found this just makes a more tender texture to the finished flatbread. Plus, resting in the fridge helps the butter solidify a little, and that will make your life easier when you come to roll out each individual flatbread. So after resting for about half an hour or so, cut the dough into 8 equal pieces, and you should then discover a lovely little swirl pattern running through each one. And when rolling out, they do have a tendency to stick a little because of the butter in there, but if you have plenty of flour to help, you shouldn't have a problem really. Press each piece down firmly before rolling, as that will help you keep that swirl centered. And as you roll, give it a quarter turn on a semi-regular basis. And if you're feeling flamboyant, flip it over every now and again. And don't be scared to add a little more flour if needed. And one thing to keep in mind when rolling each bread, you have that buttery swirl in the centre. Don't always roll from the centre outwards, as this can make the middle too thin. To achieve the desired size to fit your frying pans, once the centre is flattened, focus your pressure more on the edges. And before cooking, I'm going to rest these again, separated by a sheet of baking paper. Lots of resting going on, another 20 minutes here, which brings me to my banal question of the week. Do you like resting? Laying down, sitting, having 5 minutes, afternoon nappy naps? Let me know in the comments if you like resting. The first bread is in a really well preheated and oiled frying pan on a medium-ish heat, and these will need around 2 minutes per side. The bread will hoover up all of that oil I initially put in there, so oil the uncooked side and use a brush to distribute evenly, and that will also help get rid of any excess flour and give the breads a better appearance when cooked. I'm just going to flip this one extra time just to show you the other side, and that looks pretty good actually, so I'll get it out and I'm going to steam it with the others using a wet tea towel here to make sure the breads remain soft and pliable, although they will have a little light crunch to them too, and The rolling technique we employed earlier gives them a laminated texture, which you can see here as I tear the bread apart, and I think this sort of texture just gives a little extra dimension to the experience of eating these breads. They're very soft, but also very buttery and rich. I'm going to build a wrap here. A bit of hummus, link in the description for that, with some falafel on there, link in the description for that. And I'm done now, so I'm going to go for a little rest. Fully stripped off, in bed, 2-hour afternoon nappy nap. I'll see you next time, eh?